Have a real talk tonight. Oh, Wildly says, thanks for being great. Well, thank you. I wanted to have a real talk tonight because right now, hold on, I got crumbs all over me. I'm not even like a proper status to talk. Um, Overwatch is in a really weird place right now. And I think it's just perceived to be in a weird place. It's not actually in that bad of a place. So everyone's like talking about season 5's the worst season ever. Like SR doesn't mean shit right now. Everyone's kind of like yelling about one tricks and how they're ruining the game. Everyone's just pissy. Everyone's like, no one takes the game seriously because they're not playing the way I want them to play it. Yeah. And everyone thinks everything's going to fucking hell. But I just want like everyone to chill out and notice something. World's still spinning. Everything's fine. Like people are like, oh, Tim the Tap Man or Fat Man, whatever you want to call him. Not gonna stream Overwatch anymore. Moon's quitting. DSP Stanky, love the guy. He's super nice to me. Oh fuck, everyone's quitting Overwatch. What are we gonna do? What if you just stop and look around? Fine. Everyone's really overreacting right now. If everyone stopped streaming and everyone quit the game, you know what's going to change? Not a goddamn thing. You know why? When the Overwatch League starts paying people money to play, it's going to happen. StarCraft 2 wasn't the greatest game ever. In fact, I would say it was pretty bad. It was kind of like a bad RTS that they slapped the name StarCraft on, and it just got hyped because of that. The reason why I stayed around so long was because how much money was pumped into it. Essentially, it was too big to fail. Overwatch, if what people don't know, is Overwatch is just a logistical step for Blizzard. So if we want to go over like an APLI thing, Overwatch League is right here because they want to be in good position, which is investors. I'll just say invest and infrastructure. I'll say infra. Why? Because they're looking to create an esport league for everything. Blizzard will not allow this to fail. It won't. It's not going to. Destiny 2 is already getting released on this esports platform. If Blizzard ever releases a game, they own the fucking league. It's going to get put in there, and it will become an esport because the money is there. This will not fail. That being said, the game doesn't die in 2 months. People are really like just jumping off of bridges and shit because things aren't going their way for Season 5. Seasons last for like 3 months. So in 3 months, the game became from the greatest thing ever to dying. That's not true. It's not going to happen that quickly. It just doesn't happen that fast. Fuck, logistically, you just can't move that many people that fast. I don't think everyone's going to drop off. As soon as the league starts going off and everything starts running, I guarantee people will come back. New heroes start coming in. It's not going to change the meta. But things will get better. Now, discussing meta, introducing a new hero will not balance the game. It simply addresses the symptoms and not the cause. The problem with the current meta with Dive is that it's good. It's really good. It's far superior to every other meta that's been out there so far. It takes a lot more, and even if someone does lose using Dive, The thing is that ease of execution is on Dive's part. It's easier to play Dive than it is to play with something else. So while another strategy may beat it, they're going to have to be a lot more skilled than that team to beat them. There's just too many advantages for mobility. And I think they will get addressed over time. But there's this big question about perceived balance and actual balance. And the truth is, perception of balance is actually more important than balance itself. Let's say Junkrat's the strongest character in the game right now, but no one wants to play him. He's perceived to be weak, so therefore he will be weak. Now Blizzard right now, or at least Jeff, has said he does not want to balance the game to force the meta to change, and then he referenced Team Fortress 2 having the same meta for all its time. As a Team Fortress 2 professional player, I will tell you that is the worst example he could have made, because TF2 was not supported competitively at all by Valve. It was left alone to die. It was a terrible game. It was not balanced, and I put 6,000 hours in it, man. It was just rough. There was nothing from Valve to TF2. So that's probably the worst example he could have made. It was just really, really bad. And for those that don't know, like, I wrote an 18-page paper, and basically when I left Team Fortress 2, and I called out, like, characters need to be, like, Bastion to be created in May. And I was like, these changes need to be happening. And I kind of called out these characters before Overwatch even existed, like a decade beforehand. Perceived meta needs to be addressed by making minute changes to the class for people to get faith bolstered in. Maybe like a 5-10% change of something. And as soon as people go to it and it seems strong, then you bring it back down. The problem is to balance perception and reality, you have to make changes. And changes are inherently violent. So there's going to be a lot of hubbub, there's going to be a lot of crazy, a lot of people complaining, a lot of people blah, blah, blah. Like, there's going to be a lot of things happening, but that's good. All this chaotic things are good, because that's natural. That's how change happens. But change has to happen. You can't just let it sit there and hope it gets better. That being said, people are like, well, maybe people can figure something else out. Well, you'd see that the biggest complaint on the ladder are one-tricks. One-tricks are there to push a class to its maximum extent, to the highest level. If I play this character to the nth degree, if I get 100% accuracy with, let's say, Junkrat, or Mei, or Bastion, right? All these off-meta picks, what can I do with the class? And it does take some in-depth study of the community to figure these out, because you can't leave it to the pros. The pro scene is so volatile that they can't explore these options. Maybe they can in a scrim every once in a while, but if something took a lot of effort, they can't do it. Why? If they don't perform, they get fucking fired. It's so volatile that if they mess up 2 or 3 times, they're gone. The team will disband, they're done. Their chance at an esport career is forever gone. And we, as the community, are like, oh no, you pros have to take that risk of your entire career to fix our meta. Fuck no. It's our goddamn job. We're the community. We gotta fix this shit. And some people have to one trick. It has to happen. And in fact, specialty is good for humanity and like economics and all that. Specialty is actually how we as players can play this game. Like, why aren't you going out and hunting your own food or building your own house or doing X, Y, and Z? Why? Because they're specialists. There's a guy that just builds houses. There's a guy that just hunts. There's a guy that just makes food. It allows us, it gave us time in humanity's life to study like philosophy and free time and everything else, the myriad of things that humanity does. Specialization is insanely important. It's healthy. Now, if everyone does that, that's when it becomes not so healthy. Now, some people blame the SR system, but as a Junkrat, I will tell you this. I lose 25 to 30 SR a loss, and I get about 15 to 20 per win. So everyone's saying these off-meta characters just inherently get more SR. It doesn't really mean much. As for the other one-tricks, quote-unquote, getting more SR, it doesn't mean shit. SR doesn't mean anything. SR is not a relation of skill. Do not confuse results for skill. That hinders people in life. Just because you can do like 100 push-ups doesn't mean you're strong. Right? It just means you can do 100 push-ups. That is no indication of actual strength. It means something, but not a lot. The same thing on the piano. If I can play one piece, there's a lot of people that can play the piano. They can play one thing really, really well, right? Oh, it looks fucking phenomenal. And you're like, well, what are the underlying fundamentals that you're playing on? And they're like, oh, I don't know. I can only play one song. That's skill. Skill is understanding the underlying fundamentals of a technique. And this is why, as I just got in the user reviews, why tips and tricks don't work. Tips and tricks just give you a shortcut to win. You may get higher SR, but that doesn't mean you're getting better. Why? Because you don't understand the underlying concepts. If there becomes of you doing a same thing in a different scenario, you won't be able to apply it because you don't understand how it works, why it works, or when to use it. You just know that some big streamer told you these tips and tricks to do them. It gives you nothing. In fact, it only hurts you because now you're like, oh, now I need another tip and trick. Essentially, you become like a tip and trick junkie, and every time this high that you get from these tips and tricks, it's lesser and lesser and lesser, and then you just don't become anything. You don't develop actual skill. You're just some fucking crackhead on the street lying in the fucking gutter, right? You've done nothing to progress your actual value. You have done nothing to invest in yourself. You've just sought shortcuts, and you've become nothing because of it. That is the actual plague on the Overwatch ladder right now. From bronze at 1500 to grandmaster to the #1 player in the community. That is what is toxic. That is everything that's wrong with the community right now. Is that everyone's like, we have to do whatever it takes to win because that means we're better. And the ironic thing from our last conversation, which is how do we press the meta forward if the professionals can't do it? Well, we have to play off meta characters. We have to further the meta ourselves by picking these classes that are perceived to be weak. And we have to use them in situations that they are perceived to be weak just to explore them. There's a Taoist proverb that says, stillness in stillness is not true stillness. Stillness in motion is true stillness. It means, like, if you're a nice person, that's cool. Maybe you're a nice person. But if a hectic scenario comes up and you become an ignorant asshole, the truth is, you're not a nice person. You're an ignorant asshole. Because when it was tough to be nice, you chose not to be nice. So if you're playing Winston, when Winston's strong, whatever, no big deal. There's no merit in that. It may take skill to play Winston, but you're not sure as hell you're not testing your mettle, right? You're not becoming better at Winston because of it. You have to go up to adversity if you wish to incite change, to figure out the meta, to change things. And as of right now, as much as everyone wants something to change, no one is willing to change, right? One tricks are like, hey, we're going to further our own things, and we're going to try to figure out these classes. And everyone else is like, no, do the same thing. Do what the pros do. Only do what they do. Don't change. And then they come back on the forums and they're like, God, we need change, guys. We need to fucking change. It's this really weird-ass conundrum that Overwatch is in right now. And I know a lot of people are saying, well, we have to balance for casuals, got to balance for competitive. 18-page paper I wrote 10 years ago. Balance for the top, let it trickle down. I can't develop a tool for someone that's not talented with it, right? You don't make a violin or a piano and be like, well, we have to balance this for dumb people. Let's make the keys like giant. But then they're like, but you ruined the piano. Like, you can't balance the pen for someone just going to stab himself in the face with it, right? Part of the pen, right? It's got to go to a point. So it can be stabby, right? You can't balance it for bad people. That being said, you don't have to leave them in the dust. They'll figure it out. I think it's really bad to look at the lower members, and I don't like saying lower members. Just because people play it casually doesn't make them lower or lesser or anything else. It is perfectly acceptable to take Overwatch as a hobby. There's nothing wrong with that. But to pander to the people that want to play it as a hobby and to not respect the people that wish to take it as a job or a more serious role, for whatever reason, I don't care if you say it's a game, some people don't, they think of it as more, and you should respect that. You should let them to be able to express themselves through skill. You have to let the top do it to the best of their abilities, and let the lower people, like, they're just going to be happy with whatever they got. And in fact, if there's something really skillful that is in the game, they're going to look to try to do it, and they're going to have a lot of fun trying it. I think it's really bad for Blizzard to be like, look, the casual people can't play like the pros can. That's looking down on the community. That's Jeff just saying straight up. He's like, you casual people suck and you'll never get better, and you can't even emulate what those pros are doing. We got to pander to you. At first, people are like, oh yeah, that's good, but reality is like, no, that's bad. You're not being a game developer, you're being a gaming parent. And a gaming parent seeks to control all aspects of the game and only do it their way, which is shit for game design. A lot of things in gaming have come around throughout bugs. Rocket jumping. That's a bug. If you guys didn't know that, that's a bug from Quake. Strafe jumping, bunny hopping, conch jumping, if you did that in the original Team Fortress or any other game. Like, all of these bugs that a lot of games just take for granted now. It's mandatory. It's how old gaming developed, and it's how fun mechanics came to be. There's a Korean first-person shooter, or third-person shooter, called Guns to Duel, which had a crazy-ass mechanic that got exploited. It created this entire genre of fighting with the game. It was amazingly unique. The Korean butterfly style was... It was wonderful. It was a really cool adaptive skill. They patched it, the game tanked, and they brought it back. They're like, alright, you can do the bug again. Yeah, just because something is exploitable doesn't make it bad. Like, sometimes it's a feature, right? It's software, right? Your guy's not supposed to do that, but that's cool, so it's a feature now. Yeah, Blizzard needs to make some changes and make them a little bit more frequent. It has to happen. It's going to be violent. It has to be violent. That's how change happens. So, I know it's a lot to be said, and people are mad at one tricks, and everyone thinks the world's going to hell, but we're doing fine, guys. Like, honestly, we're doing fine. If you wake up tomorrow and you go to queue, it's going to be 1 minute. You're going to find, 11 people that you never met before, and you're going to play Overwatch. It's not going to be bad. Thinking something dies that quickly, especially one supported by such a giant as Blizzard, don't worry. So if everyone just calms down, that would be great. If we just stop the hate, that would really help. Either you can get bitter or you can get better, right? That's it. Those are the two things you can do in life. When something happens, get upset about it or use it to get stronger. The community right now is using it to get weaker. They're getting bitter over it. They're just kind of giving up, which is really funny because if I pick Junkrat, that should have no effect on you, right? I'm playing the game I want, and you can do whatever you want. It's cool. We'll work together. We can figure it out. We'll make it happen. But a lot of throwers, I shouldn't say throwers, but a lot of other people say, no, you have to play the game my way. I make the decision.
Thank you.
And I think that's a bigger dick move, is to say, play the game my way, or I'm not playing at all. And that's what most of these players are doing. You know, I recently started leveling up a Smurf in Platinum, and I get a lot of hate for the Mei. I play Mei only, and man, people hate me. They just hate me. They hate more than... I never thought it was possible. They hate me more than my Junkrat. It's insane. And they don't want to work with you. It's funny, like, if you open up, you're like, no, I want to work with you, but I want to play this class. You'll just be like, no,
my genius
you're wrong.
Is finally recognized.
I'm not playing that. It's insane. It's really, really shitty what everything has been becoming. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say. Like, we'll be fine. The people that really get pissy and get really salty and quit, well, good, they're gone. They decided to get bitter, and nothing will come from that except for we'll just do better, right? We'll move on. If someone leaves, get better or get better. You have to get better. Yeah, it's strange. I just think the whole situation is strange, and I think a lot of it does revolve around what me and a buddy, Color Bastion, got into an argument about. It wasn't even an argument; it was a discussion. It was a loud discussion. That's a nice way to put it. And it came up about the word counter, and I don't like the word counter. Hate it. I don't ban it in my chat, but everyone knows it's a taboo word here. And the reason is because I believe in our language, in our culture, counter is the concept is I take what you have, I make it nothing, and then I hit you back, and I get everything. This idea of countering, along with the idea that everything in Overwatch is decision-based. And this kind of goes along with the one-tricking and the throwing and a lot of people hating. They believe you made the choice to play Mei, therefore you made the choice to lose, because everything is decision. The truth is that there are no counters in Overwatch. There's difficult matchups. And what that does is it takes the blame from a decision that is yes or no, like black and white, to a more gray area. And now when something is a decision, it's lost my train of thought. Now when something is a difficult matchup, if you ask any professional player what a difficult matchup is, or you tell them it's a difficult matchup, they go, so I have to be better. You're telling me I can win this if I'm better? And you're like, yeah, it's a difficult matchup. It's not going to be easy. They have the advantage, but you can win. And they'll be like, fuck yeah, that is what I want to hear, because now I can win. I can beat anyone if I'm good enough. And you're like, yeah. They will seek that out. Players will specifically do that, and that's kind of like the pinnacle of one-tricking. It's like, that's the top of the pyramid, the greatest thing ever, the top of the mountain, is getting to this point where you can fight any class with your hero, and you're like, yeah, just through skill I can do this. Under the idea of that Overwatch has counters, removes that idea. Because you're saying, oh, no. They have a Pharah, you're a Junkrat, you can't do anything. It counters you. There's nothing you can do. Therefore, I'm going to get angry at you because you can't do anything. You made the decision to do nothing, and I hate that. Right? The truth is what should be said is, are you skilled enough to beat that Pharah as a Junkrat? And all of a sudden you're like, oh wait, like that now that doesn't sound angry. Now that doesn't like come off as very harsh. Some people are skilled enough, some people aren't skilled enough, and this applies to every single class. So you have Genjis or Bastions and whatnot, and you're like, oh, can Genji fight a Winston? And you're like, no, they get countered. And you're like, no, I've seen Genjis fight Winstons all the time. They're like, oh, well, maybe if you're good enough. Right? And that means it's a difficult matchup, it's not a counter. I think that mentality that Blizzard has fostered with counters is one of the main reasons why people throw. Because it becomes a decision based. And it's not skill-based. Once it becomes skill-based, guess where the fault lies? Do yourself. All of a sudden, all of these games, all of these matchups, all of these decisions, it's your fault. It's not someone else's fault. It wasn't, you picked that and you lost. It was more like, I couldn't overcome what our team needed. Even though you picked something else, it's still my job, right? Get bitter or get better. Get better. It is my job as another teammate to pick up your slack, right? Even if they are playing the right class, maybe they're just not that good at it. Maybe you still have to pick up that slack. You have to keep on trying harder. Again, with the idea of counters, that this whole premise doesn't exist because you give up. It means nothing, right? You got countered. It's a 6v5. No point in playing. A lot of people give up hope then. But with skill, it means you do have hope. It means you have an out. There's something you can do. You know, it gives you a chance to take control. And I think that's really, really important in Overwatch. It's important in life. Just don't give up. Keep on fighting. Even when you think it's bleak, keep on fighting. Keep searching for a way. If you can't find a way, maybe it was something before that way, right? Maybe it was something else before that you even thought was happening. You thought like going left at the beginning at spawn was the correct answer. Maybe that was the wrong answer. But there's always something more you can analyze, something more you can do, something more for you to not give up on. And I think that's more important than anything else. Fostering that type of mentality is what would make a good Overwatch player good. And even from bronze to top 500, I guarantee you the top 10 players out there right now, at least half of them have that mentality of just giving up as soon as they come across this. Which is really weird, because it's like, you do X, therefore I have to do Y. I think it's very funny that people are like, oh, since you're not trying, I'm not trying. Right? That doesn't make any sense. Whatever I do shouldn't really have much of an effect on if you can or can't do something, right? It's like saying if I pick this cup up, you can't lift 100 pounds anymore. It's rather odd, right? Either you can or can't. Whether you believe I can or can't do something should have no effect on it whatsoever. Yeah. So that's kind of like the state of Overwatch right now. Everyone's fucking bitching, getting nothing done. Everything's gonna be fine. I don't think I got anything more to say. I kind of rambled on there at the end, but yeah. You got anything in chat? I missed everyone. I wasn't looking at chat. But I think we'll be just fine. In fact, the people that we lose, I think it's going to make us stronger.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
It's actually, yeah, everyone that quits, every one person that quits is going to be wonderful. Because they're fucking gone. Yeah, let's have a party for everyone that leaves. Wouldn't that be nice? And we'll only invite the people that left. It'll be the best fucking party ever. I think we're gonna be fine. I think everyone that's going crazy. Oh! One more thing. Damn, bounced right back at me. Sweet. About to talk about counters. If everything is truly is decision-based, like everyone says it is, right? If they're saying I'm completely wrong, the defense should always lose, if that's the case. Why? Before every game, I'll send one tracer. I'll send one tracer in to blink, see what everyone classes, recall back to spawn. We will make a comp that counters your comp, and we will win that first point. You can change on the second point. We'll attack. We'll see what composition you have. We will then change again to counter your comp. We will take that point. That's the truth if you believe counters exist. Now people are like, oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. And they use stuff like, that's a hard counter, that's a soft counter. Bullshit. That's like saying, that's a soft death, that's a hard death. There's just death, right? You can't softly die. Like if I injure my finger, that's not a soft death. If I lose an arm, that's not a hard death, right? It's death or alive. Dead or alive, that's it. In which case, it would come down to balance. Some classes are more versatile than others. The idea of niche classes, which a lot of people have, is actually completely wrong. Because you would never pick a class that's useful in 20% of the map over something that's useful in 80% of the map. Especially when you can dodge at 20% of the map, right? Let's say someone's good at choke points. There's always one choke point, one flank that's a choke point, maybe two flanks that are a choke point, and then the middle part that's open. You just take the open path, right? You just bypass the hero. And even in the choke point, if a hero always won, that would be overpowered, so they don't always win. So even when a niche class is strong in their niche, they will lose. Like 30-40% of the time. So niche classes as a concept is actually flawed. Same thing as counters. Which is why I don't like doing any of that stuff. I think both of those are wrong ideas. But yeah. The laptop's about to die. So I gotta get power. If there's any questions, throw them in chat. Any statements? We're all doing fine, yeah. We're all doing fine. That's the truth. In fact, we're doing better than fine. We're cutting off the fat. All the people that played Overwatch just to win, just to be like, I don't know, put on your fucking resume. Like, what do you get? Like, let's say you're Grandmaster. I'm Grandmaster. Can I put that on the resume? No, I can't. It's fucking stupid. It's just some fucking dick measuring contest where people think the bigger number is better. Which, don't get me wrong, bigger more often is better, but, you know, sometimes you're an asshole because of it. Yeah. Yeah. Don't worry about it. Worry about getting better, guys. Why? Because the process of learning is universal. Everything you do in life has one thing in common. You. If you figure out how to learn in Overwatch, you can apply the concept of learning to other things, and that's what I do. I've learned a lot of things in life, and there's a couple professions that I seek a mastery of. The highest of the high. Even if someone's the best person in the world's at this level, I seek to be at this level. Right? There are a couple things in life that I seek to do that for. And that means you have to pursue not just perfection, just the perfection of learning, the perfection of the art you're trying to perfect, all that type of stuff. And that started from playing Quake 2. My idea of learning from Quake 2, and then I played some Red Alert. And I learned the things from Quake could actually be applied to Red Alert. And it was the science of learning. So don't get in bad habits, especially the younger children. And I don't mean to call them children, but you're fucking children. Anyone under 22, child to me. You're barely a toddler. Uh, Learn how to learn, and then you can figure out everything in this world. And the first step to that is understanding that nothing is complex. Just a couple simple things done at the same time that makes it seem complex. So, guys in my chat are like, I'm 11. Fuck, you are a child kid. Like, oh my god, you're such a child. You're just so small. You don't even know how to learn yet. You're just getting told what to do. Yeah. And I don't want younger kids to get a bad habit of learning. Like, they give up on learning, or they think learning is about tips and tricks, which is just shortcuts. Actually properly learn how to learn. You can do that from gaming. You can do it from everything, right? Some people say it's just a game, but actually just a game is based on what you value it as. You may just see it as just a game, and I see it as a way to express myself. That's how I see Overwatch right now. People get upset. They're like, oh, you don't care about winning, Chro. You don't care about doing anything. You don't care about getting better, which is bullshit. What I care about is self-expression, and Junkrat is my paintbrush. And I can paint all the colors of Overwatch with Junkrat. And it's fun. It's just my way of self-expression. The class was literally... I don't think it was made for me, but I'm pretty sure it was made for me. They like, some guys saw me playing TF2, and they're like, the way that guy plays Demo Man, I want a class like that. And, you know, I'll take credit for creating Junkrat. I'll take credit for it. Fuck it. Fuck it. If anyone says I didn't create the class, I'm a liar or something. But, yeah, it's like the class was made for me. It was wonderful. So, I always have fun on it. And that's the most important lesson I can teach you today, guys. With Overwatch, have fun. Why? If you don't have fun, you'll never learn shit. I've tried to learn things that I don't have fun at and that are just feel like a chore. And it sucks. And there's some things you can choose to learn that suck, and like you kind of have to. Like, become an adult. You have to learn about mortgage, house payments, taxes. That stuff blows, but you gotta fucking learn about it. But if it's something you're doing for fun, and you stop having fun at it, fucking Godspeed at you learning that. You won't keep the motivation. You may keep the motivation for a year, maybe 2 years, maybe 3 years. What about 15? What about 20? I've been playing these games for 20 years. Motivation, still going high. Why? Because I look to have fun. And my version of fun is doing well, maybe in a different way, but playing as hard as I can. Sincerely, like, I'm playing as hard as I can, even though I'm quote-unquote one-tricking and throwing. But top 500 every season, so I guess my version of fun is winning. But, you have to have fun. And just to make a small comment, if turning off chat makes you have more fun, if not joining comms makes you have more fun, do it. Ladder anxiety is real. Anyone who's played a single-player RTS game understands that. Some of our Overwatch players, the guy I just reviewed today, he has ladder anxiety. He's at 12, 1300, he's up going to 14, 15, and he has ladder anxiety really bad in Overwatch. Some people may make fun of that, but fuck you. That's an actual thing that happens, and you have to, respect that. You have to be like, alright, it's a real thing. So, people have different reasons of doing it, and you can still play with them. Right? It's pretty obvious when you want to attack a point. Everyone attacks. The idea that teamwork has to be verbal kind of spits on my entire history of gaming, where I played CTF games, Team Fortress, not Team Fortress 2, but Weapons Factory, which was a 10 class based system, capture the flag, where you had to coordinate everything without voice, before VoIP even existed. And we all coordinated everything perfectly. You knew where everyone was at every point in time, and you knew what they needed to do when they were going to do it. How? Skill. You just knew. You played so much with the people, you knew their habits, you knew what they're good at, what they're bad at, and you just knew how everything was going to go. That's old skill. The idea that you need voice communications where you just scream at a target to shoot. Look, I can see the guy's discorded. I can see 3 people shooting them. Okay, I'll shoot them. It's not that goddamn hard. You don't have to scream in my ear. Yeah. 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 I think that's all for my soapbox shit. Yeah. Anything to say? Any questions? I see red all over my chat. Like, everyone's commenting on my stuff, and I just, like, I can't look at all the questions. More like shoutbox zing. You got me. Other finishes. Upload. Jesus Christ, the entire thing is just messaging me. Crostadamus, the future fate of Overwatch. Crostadamus, that's happy. Oh, of course people downvoted this. They don't. I'll just say, most of the community hates me, and they will downvote me just because of name alone. Also, there are big streamers that essentially have groups of people there to downvote me. So, yeah, you know, don't expect you guys to be like, guys, this guy said something, you know, important. He said a lot of crazy shit, and I don't agree with some of it, but some of it was really good. They're like, oh, it's Chro, fuck him. He doesn't know what he's talking about. You want to read that 18-page paper? That 18-page paper, look, they say your first million words are garbage. Those were like my first 200,000 words. Not even that. They were like my first 50,000 words. Fucking absolute dog shit. The first part of it was pretty good, where I go into game design and whatnot, and then I say afterwards what needed to be done. I didn't have any good grammar checking. I didn't really look over it twice. It was just kind of like I wrote my piece really quickly, and then I exited Team Fortress 2. So it's not like my most brilliant thing. It's not the most like shining object of what I wrote and my thought process at the time. It was kind of like something I was just like, I gotta leave Team Fortress 2. I have all these thoughts. Here are my thoughts. Fuck off. I don't care if you hate them, but these are my thoughts. At least I say it and then get out. Why does the community hate me? Because I'm a one-trick. I am the king of one-tricks. Maybe the queen. I think Steve-O would be the king of one-tricks. I believe he is a bit bigger than me, and he's definitely known. Probably more than me. I think he's had more success as a one-trick. But I'm definitely the queen. People actually believe it or not, people believe I corrupted Fuey into playing Torb as a one-trick. They call me, like, I'm the corruptor of the ladder. Which is fucking dope for a name. I would love my nickname to be the corruptor. Like, that's just fucking dope. Isn't that awesome? Like, people watch me and they just fuck up on the ladder. They're like, oh my god, Chro got another one. Ah, there's so many. Like, my legion is growing. My Junkrat, my Torbs, my Symmetras. Ah, so good. The Chro Ruptor. Oh, shit. Yeah. Is the corrupted name of my Smurf account? No. Also, we had a bunch of during my rant. I had some subs and donations, and I appreciate them. Bastion, give me $5. Bastion, don't give me $5. Says, "Oh my god, you're such a smart. You teach me how to be a genius." Sure. Why not? Logic much for the tier 1 4 sub. Resub! 4 months! He says, "Too right!" And Ice Gust, he says, "Are you a Junkrat main for life, or you move on from one drinking at one point?" I'll probably move on eventually. Like, I got a May one trick. And I'm getting that one up. But, yeah. Yeah, also, every DPS player is a one trick. They play... Here's the truth. Oh my god, this is so funny. The people that aren't one tricks, they play 2 classes. That's all they do. Like, they'll play 2 or 3 tanks. They'll play, like, a DPS player will play 2 or 3 DPS players. That's it. Like, it's more about their picks. It's who they play and not how many of those characters they play. Right? Truly it is. It's about the picks. It's not about these guys can play Junkrat or Bastion or whatnot. They don't pick those classes, they pick the good classes. So, fuck them.